So we are back talking about the new season in a new setup. So if you didn't see my community post, I have been moving house, hence why the lack of videos. But I am back and I actually have a permanent setup. I'm not actually borrowing my fiance's area. This is mine. I mean, hell, I might move this but I've got models behind me. There's 143 and two 164s. One of them is a Hot Wheels, but I'm not here to talk about that. I'm here to talk about the new 2026 Supercars season. There is not a lot of change, but also a hell of a lot of change all at the same time, depending on where you look. We are still sticking with the final series, but there is more than meets the eye when it comes to what has been added. So join me as I talk about the 2026 Supercars season. What's new, who's not going to race there, who will race there, and who will race for who. But if you like this Supercars video and you want to see more content from moi, give a like and a subscribe. The support would be very much appreciated. We are so close to 200 subscribers. Hopefully we get there before, I don't know, the end of the month. And also if you want to keep up with Supercars news and other categories like NASCAR, follow me on TikTok and Instagram. I post weekly content over there. So what is new for 2026? Well, we have an extra round. We've gone from 13 to 14 rounds, mainly because of the addition of Ruapuna, the Euromark Motorsport Park based in Christchurch, which means we are having 2 rounds in New Zealand. And that means there are changes to the Jason Richards Memorial Trophy. The winner of the trophy is the best performer over those 2 rounds. It's not just one. I was wondering if they were going to have a separate trophy for the South Island, but no. The Ben 500 is still a thing, but they are moving it to the West layout instead of the international layout. Last year's race was a bit dull. I made a video about it, and the West layout is hoping to improve the raceability of this, race. We have a new manufacturer. Toyota is bringing their Supra to Supercars, and we have a new set of homologation teams. You've got, Walkinshaw for Toyota, Team 18 will take the ranks at Chevrolet, and 888 will be the Ford homologation team. So before we get into the teams, who are the drivers not on the grid for this season? Firstly, you've got Jackson Evans. He was running for SCT Motorsports last year. He will be co-driving with Ryan Wood this year, so he's picked up a good gig. Bryce Fullwood doesn't have anything announced as I speak. I hope he gets a co-drive because he's too good to not be getting a co-drive, let alone be on the full-time grid. But I expect him to be maybe at Matt Stone Racing. James Courtney retired from full-time driving and he has gone back to Charlie Schwerkolt's organisation. He'll be running with David Reynolds in the Snowy River 20 car. Will Davison has gone over to the Grove organisation after being ousted out of Dick Johnson Racing after a poor 2025. Richie Stanaway's full-time career seems to be over, but Blanchard Racing Team has given him a lifeline. He will partner in the number 7 Blanchard car. And Nick Percat made the sudden decision to retire from full-time driving after 2025, although his gig for co-driving is pretty good. He was running in a 888 car alongside Brock Feeney. Anyway, the teams. Penrite Racing. I'm going to go in order from how minimal their changes are to how much their changes are. Starting with Penrite. They aren't looking to change much, if anything. The only major change I can think of is David Couchy is no longer team principal, but Matty Payne, who had a really strong 2025, which included a Bathurst win, Jason Richards Memorial Trophy winner, and Enduro Cup winner. He won the Sunday race in Adelaide. He was slaying the Giants last year. If it wasn't for the fact that he got knocked out of the second round in the final series, who knows, he could have been champion. But there was one Penrite car in the Final Four. It was Kai Allen in his rookie season. And he is looking to back up that with a strong second season. He did everything bar get a pole and a win last year. He got multiple podiums. The consistency, I should say, started creeping up towards the end of the year, and it was rarer to find him outside of the top 10 than it was inside the top 10 by the end of the season. Their goal for this year is probably just improve on everything that they did. Their strategies last year were second to none. They had some of the best brains on the pit lane. The only thing that let them down in the pits is the stop itself. They're probably going to be hoping to speed that up to get on par with the likes of Brad Jones Racing, AAA and Matt Stone Racing. Tickford Racing, another team with minimal changes. Last year was, you could say, a disappointment. They got 3 wins throughout the year, but they were all in round 1. The person that took those wins was Cameron Waters. Like I said, he came out of the gate swinging, getting maximum points throughout the first round at Sydney Motorsport Park, and then he didn't get a single win for the rest of the season, which for his standards, I sort of picked him to win the championship. He did get the podiums and the poles. I think he got 1 pole or maybe 2, but he needs to improve on basically everything in 2026, as does his teammate Thomas Randall. He was playing the Cameron Waters bootlicker role once again, and it was very rare that he stuck his elbows out and got aggressive, and when he did, it was usually given a penalty to him. So he did get a few podiums. I think he got at least one. But he is looking to improve massively, and he is still looking for that win. Bloody Cameron Hill got a win before him. Team 18 still with their driver lineup and most of their sponsors, but they are now the GM homologation team, which means more pressure. 2025 was good for the team. Can they improve on that, especially with their ace in the hole, Anton De Pasquale? He was my boldest prediction when it came to who was going to be in and out of the final series. By the way, that video is probably coming out in the next couple of weeks, so subscribe to see that prediction video. Yes, I know it's late, but like I said, I've had shit going on. But he had multiple podiums, a hunk of top 10s, a final series appearance, and if it wasn't for the fact that he spun James Courtney, he probably could have gone through to the next round at Sandown. But for him, it's just, I assume, just looking towards 2026 and get Team 18's second win ever as an organisation. Or could it be his teammate? David Reynolds had a slow start to 2025. There were some serious talks about David losing his seat for 2026, but in the second half of the season, he really got the donkey behind him and started going. He got more consistent. He got a pole at Townsville, a podium at Bathurst. Considering Team 18's rather shit record at the mountain, a podium at Bathurst was almost like a win by 4 laps. He will be looking to 2026 to see if he can improve, and hopefully if Matt Payne isn't available, his seat will be saved for another year. Now onto the teams with minor/minimal changes. Starting with Erebus Motorsport, they had a rather shocking 2025. They had one driver that did bugger all and another driver that did quite a lot, and by that I mean quite a lot of crashing, and there was quite a bit of speed. That driver is Cooper Murray. Like I said, the speed was there, but he got involved in way too much shit for him to be a real serious contender. I talked about it on TikTok if he was at risk on losing his seat. I mean, at one point Aaron Cameron was sniffing down his tailpipe in the team's championship, and he had a round less than him on the books. But towards the end of the year, the consistency and speed started to gel together. He got good results in the Enduros, so much so he got 2nd or 3rd in the ProTech Enduro Cup, and he is looking to 2026 with a full season sponsor. They have Total Energies on the side of that car, and he'll also have his last year's co-driver as this year's teammate. Job Stewart has been rather impressive, and he is the first of 5 rookies that are competing in the series this year. Like I said, he was very impressive in the Enduros. For both races, he was off strategy with everyone else basically. His stats are, well, he got first in the 2023 Super 3 series. You might think that's not very impressive considering there were 2 or 3 cars. No, this was the first year of the Gen 2 in Super 2, so there were a lot of Super 3 cars, or there were a lot of future cars in Super 3. And he also dominated a race in Super 2 at Bathurst in 2024. Where do I think he will stack up? Well, I don't think he'll do the greatest, but as long as he doesn't wreck shit up and tear a bunch of gear up, he should have a good season. Blanchard Racing Team was another team that had a sluggish start in 2025, so much so they were locking out the back row at Taupo, but in the next round they got a podium at Purrit, so fucks me what they were up to. They're looking to keep up the speed that they were showing towards the end of the year, especially with their driver Aaron Cameron. He will be driving the 3 car once again, and remember, he got thrown in the wolves last year after Aaron Love and BRT split after round 1 of, well, the previous season. He didn't do too badly, he consistently got up to speed, got that front row start at Adelaide. Yes, he did throw it in the wall, but he was leading for most of that point up until then. So as long as the top 10 start rolling in a bit more consistency and he isn't 24th in the points, I think Aaron Cameron will see this season as a success. But he's got a very high quality teammate as the James Courtney replacement. Granted, it's another James, but he goes by Jimmy more times than not. Jimmy Golding is coming over from Premier Racing. Now, he had a bit of an up and down 2025. It was down compared to 2024, yes, but he did get another podium for Premier at Bathurst. Granted, he was the first person to cross the line and he got a penalty for spinning Cooper Murray around at Griffin's Bend, but that's another debate for another day. Does Jimmy keep up the speed for Blanchard Racing Team? They do have quite a minor technical alliance with Triple Eight now that Triple Eight are with Ford. More on them later. Dick Johnson Racing, they're having a number change with one driver and a driver change with another car. Firstly, we're going to talk about the franchise driver, Brody Kostecki. He'll be now in the number 17 car, so a lot of pressure on Bush here. Granted, he did do well last year, although there were a bit of ups and downs. 3 wins, including a 50 grand paycheck at Adelaide and the inaugural Bend 500 win, is pretty good, but then the quali speed and then some of the race pace was a bit average. Like I said, now he's got the franchise number, the 17, so there is a bit more pressure on him, and there's considerably less pressure than there would be on his teammate if he had that number. Because that guy is Ryland Gray. For such a young driver, he has such a diverse background. He had the theory of go up the ranks as fast as possible and go in as much machinery as possible as well. I mean, he only started circuit racing competitively in 2022. That wasn't that long ago. But he has done well in basically nearly everything that he's running. Did well in Super 2, he did well in Toyota 86s, he did decently in Aussie racing cars, and he knows how to wheel a Ford Capri Piranha around in Touring Car Masters. And he won the championship in Super 2 in 2025. I'm not expecting much from Ryland, but as long as he does better than Will Davison did last year, it could be seen as a success, and maybe get a podium along the way. As for the teams with the major changes going forward, well, starting with Matt Stone Racing, their major change is a fresh driver lineup. They had such a good start to 2025, but then they quickly nosedived in the back half of the season, losing both of their drivers. Cameron Hill's replacement is Jack LeBrock. I'm not seeing a lot of appraisal out of this appointment. He really hasn't done much since he was back in Matt Stone in the first Gen 3 era. He went to Erebus with a lot of hype, but he didn't really deliver on a lot of it. He did get a pole at Townsville. What's with getting poles at Townsville? I think it was Townsville. Can he get his Matt Stone Racing speed back? Well, he's going to have a very fast teammate alongside him. In the 10 car replacing Nick Perica is Zach Bates. Again, another rookie for the season. He was the 2024 Super 2 champion, but he decided to do 2025 Super 2. Don't know if that was a mistake or not, but it did get him a super cheap wildcard ride alongside Craig Lowndes, and he did considerably well in that ride. I remember he was a gun in the Toyota A6 series from 2021 and 2022, and his family has a lot of racing experience. You know, the Bateses, rallying, Toyota, yeah, he's a part of that. Granted, I don't think he'll be slinging around a Yaris around this series, but you know, could happen one day. Premier is another team that had a massive change in their driver lineup, losing one driver to one team, and well, they just got rid of another driver. Replacing James Golding, I think, is Jaden Ojeda, the Juice, as people call him. He's been quite impressive in his co-driving, and he has done a bit of wildcard lining up for Walkinshaw. but he also has a diverse racing background. He has Mercedes factory backing in their GT program. I'm sure in the Supercars off weekends he'll be still doing some running for Mercedes. It'd be a shame if he didn't, but he has another young co-driver another young driver alongside him in his second season, and that driver is Declan Fraser. The 2022 Super 2 champion is back full-time in the series after a couple of years of co-driving. Remember, he did the first Gen 3 era in the Tickford Racing 56, although he had a bit of fourth car syndrome and he didn't really have much speed, so I'm not going to put a lot of blame on him, but he is in a very high class environment now that they've got Roland Dane as team principal. Do these two drivers sink or do they swim? I'm not too sure, honestly. It could go either way. You could have one driver doing well and one driver doing terribly, both drivers doing well, or both drivers drowning. I actually have no idea how they're going to go. And for the teams that have changed manufacturers, starting with AAA, like I said, they are the Ford homologation team. So they've gone to Mustangs and they have also expanded to 3 cars. They have acquired the SCT Motorsports license off Brad Jones Racing. Their 2 Red Bull drivers are no different. They've got Brock Feeney in the number 88 car, coming off that impressive run in 2025, now sporting facial hair, so let's see if that slows him down or gives him a bit of confidence. All he was missing out of 2025 was luck, for God's sake. I mean, he didn't win Bathurst because of luck. I say luck, he spun out in Forest Elbow, but he had the speed there. He definitely had the speed to win the championship if it wasn't for a $50 part. So look out for him in 2026. Hell, he could win everything. Or could his teammates stop him? Yes, Will Brown hasn't had the best of speed in qualifying, but he has something back. The 888 Magic. Yes, the number 888 is back full-time for the first time since 2018, because Craig Lowndes no longer a part of the organisation, so he's handed the reins to a driver with a similar personality. It's weird seeing the ultra-competitive, ultra-focused on his racing guy in the 88, pseudo Winkup, and you've got the larrikin people's man sort of person in the 888, like Lowndes. It's a weird dynamic to see. It's sort of like a new generation of the old generation. But I expect him to do well, just as qualifying has a bit of an asterisk beside it. But like I said, they have got a 3rd car now, and I don't know how this one is going to go because, yes, it's got a hell of a lot of backing behind it because of the sponsor, but Jackson Walls is an unknown quantity in a touring car. He has a lot of Carrera Cup experience and a lot of wings and slicks experience, but he has 1 year in Super 2. I don't know if that's going to be enough for the experience to catch up with the speed. He has plenty of speed. He was so close to winning the Carrera Cup title if it wasn't for some mix-up at Adelaide, but it's hard to tell. You could say that give him time, he's a rookie, but Brock Feeney was a rookie and he got 6th in Red Bull machine or 888 machinery. How does Jackson Walls do? I don't know. Brad Jones Racing, like I said, they've gone down to 3 cars for 2026, but they will be racing Toyota Supras, and they have a new driver. But let's go to the old drivers. Andre Heimgartner was this close to getting into the playoffs if it wasn't for the fact that Brock Feeney passed him on the last lap at Bathurst. He did have an impressive run at the end there, getting a podium for Brad Jones Racing, which was very bittersweet, but he'll be looking to 2026, fingers crossed that the Supra is a good mousetrap, as same with the next couple of drivers. Macaulay Jones had flashes of speed once again in 2025, but a consistency of being down the back really hurt his points finish. And they've got a new driver in the 14. Bryce Ford is out and Cameron Hill is in. I'm surprised this car doesn't have more Toyota backing on it, considering he was the gun in the first few years of the 86 series. He is a race winner in Supercars, winning at Albert Park last year. He is a Carrera Cup champion. The only thing he had in bucket loads was aggression, which probably cost him points in the race for the final series, because he was another driver that just missed it. And I think that penalty that he got for ploughing Zach Bates off the road in a straight line, I think that hurt him. How does Brad Jones Racing do? Well, it all depends on how the Supra goes, honestly. I expect them to do quite averagely at the start and then pick it up as the parity adjustments go through. And could the same happen to the homologation team, now named Walkinshaw TWG Racing? They have less heads at the table, with Zach Brown and United Autosport pulling out of their funding. I assume more of it to go to McLaren, but the Walkinshaw TWG group, or the Andretti group, have brought into that team more, hence why it's Walkinshaw TWG Racing. Unchanged driver lineup for this one. Chaz Mostert is the defending champion. He had such a stellar run at the end of the season. Does he keep that up though? I mentioned it in a few videos that he had one win going into the final series. He'll be looking just to have more consistency going into that, because the number one has a lot of pressure on it. Just ask Will Brown last year. If you have a championship hangover on the likes of James Courtney or Russell Engel, that could spell disaster for Chaz Mostert. Because the last driver I want to talk about is his teammate Ryan Wood. Ryan Wood was, again, like Mostert, so impressive in the final series. His issue was just luck, mechanical luck. He had so much mechanical issues from Bathurst onwards, it is ridiculous. He had won at Bathurst, he had won at the Gold Coast, which cost him a final series spot, and then he played the ultimate wingman for Chaz Mostert. And that doesn't even include all the mechanical issues at like Perth. Remember, he was on course to take 3 wins out of 3 that weekend, and he only got 1. So do we see a new and improved Ryan Wood? I mean, hell, he was good in the Formula Regional cars over the summertime, and he wasn't too bad in that Ferrari at 12 hours. So I think we see a new and improved Ryan Wood. But that's going to go on to my final series prediction, which, like I said, will be coming out in the next couple of weeks. So that is the grid for the Supercars Championship. This doesn't include any wildcard efforts that are going ahead. So far, the only one confirmed is the Team 18 one, with Craig Lowndes and just announced Bailey Hall in those cars. So if you want to see more Supercars content, give a like and subscribe. The support would be very much appreciated. Comment what you want to see in the Supercars lineup. Do you want to see round reviews? Do you want to see more miscellaneous videos, like my diamonds and the gravel, etc.? Let me know in the comments, and I will take those opinions to, well, granted. Well, I'll take them to the notebook and I'll write them down and make videos about them. But while you're waiting for the next video, check out one of these 2 videos. I don't know which one I'll be putting up, if I put any up. I didn't in the last video. And I'll see you in the next video, whatever the one that may be. God, my voice is really fucking out at this point.